How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Talking Heads. Today, I want to welcome to my left Joe Rockstar. We have Shamara, and we have Michael. This is your trending TV talk show. We're going to talk about all kinds of topics today, and we're gonna have some fun. We're going to battle. We're going to fight a little bit. And first, I want to start off with Carondelet Private High School in Concord, California. They wanted to celebrate Black History Month, and what they wanted to do was serve fried chicken, cornbread, and watermelon to celebrate that, and it caused a little uproar. So let's start with Shamara. What's your take on that?
So, having gone to an all girls private school here in Westchester, I can understand the uproar that happened with the students there because I think I read that there were about 2% minority students in the school, and they had a group, I believe it's like a Black awareness type of club or group, and apparently the administration didn't know that they were going to be serving that for lunch that day. And so when an announcement was made over the loudspeaker that morning, they are starting to say, this is what we're having for lunch: fried chicken, watermelon, cornbread, in celebration of Black History Month. Um, I personally don't think that, I think someone was probably trying to do a little flim flam there. I think that maybe they thought it was a funny joke. And the administration, I think, though, should have checked what was being announced for the menu that day. But I can see how it would be very offensive to the students, the parents, teachers,
Yeah.
especially having such a small population of minority students.
I actually saw some of the videos or interviews from the kids, and the kids were kind of confused. So, and then the administration doesn't know. So somebody dropped the ball somewhere in there. Like, how does that not get caught? You
Right.
know? And it wasn't the kids. So yeah, it was something a little crazy going on in there.
Right, and who would even think of the idea of this is how we'll celebrate Black History Month? You don't serve, food like that. I mean, you think back to what, Southern food is Southern food, but, we're not talking about going back to plantation times. We're celebrating Black History Month. We're celebrating values and history and, a lot of good things that, people throughout our history have accomplished. So
Right.
I think it was a little bit degrading.
Mike, what's your take, man?
Wow, I've just got so much to say about this issue that it's I don't know where to start. I mean, first and foremost, you have a high school in Northern California where the tuition is in excess of $17,000 for anything to slip past administration without them knowing about it. Just doesn't seem kosher.
Right.
Kosher, I don't know if that's the appropriate term now, but well, that's number one. Number two, I've got a very different perspective on this because, as you know, I teach high school in the Bronx, and my the demographic
Do it to your kids, right?
the demographic of my kids, they're predominantly Black, Caribbean, and Latino American. And when I threw it out there, the shock that I was anticipating was non-existent. So I'm kind of inclined to think that this is more of a generational insult than a present-day cultural insult. In fact, they were kind of. I would love to see that on the menu here any day, let alone to celebrate Black History Month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really think that we've stigmatized things to a degree that our generation and the older generations are so quick to jump on that PC bandwagon where it might actually be offensive to the kids who are more impacted by it on the day-to-day basis.
Right, right.
I had heard that the Black Student Union at that school had gotten their hands on the menu or found out about it prior to it being released, and they requested that the watermelon be removed. That was the only thing that they found offensive.
Blacks, it's
And
funny.
you said it was a 2% population,
Right.
but they said, listen, the watermelon's too far, and I think that's where, we'll cut it off, because a school can serve fried chicken one day a week and not have any sort of, as long as they don't, putting the we're celebrating Black History Month
Exactly.
as the title was dropping the ball.
Right.
You said on Monday we're going to have fried chicken and cornbread, and everyone's like, sweet.
Right.
That's delicious.
It's not like you were celebrating a culture. So if it was you're celebrating the independence of one of the West Indian countries, Trinidad, let's say, and we're going to serve food that's made with curry. Like that's part of the West Indian culture.
Right.
I can't necessarily say that fried chicken, cornbread, and watermelon is just part of the African American culture.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think if we all went down to Sylvia's in Harlem after this for dinner, we'd be more akin to ordering something that was more in line with the soul food menu. It certainly wouldn't go there for a hamburger.
Right, but that's soul food. It's not African American food.
So basically, I understand where you guys are coming from, but those the collard greens, the macaroni and cheese, the fried chicken, that was the scraps. back in the day.
Right.
So to celebrate that and to kind of, if we want to put that, if black people want to put that on ourselves and celebrate that way, then that's one thing. But like you said, I think it's a generational thing. Like I kind of laughed and I kind of smile when I talk about it because I'm just like, this is kind of funny. But because of the history of it, it's definitely offensive to some people. I think it's a generational thing, and maybe some of those younger kids don't really understand. So what would have maybe been better is if they did that and said, here's a little background on why fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, watermelon was the food for black people, African American people, when they were slaves back then.
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of been passed on.
Or
I agree with that.
maybe we could take another view of the whole issue and say maybe we've done our job in explaining it, so the understanding doesn't have to be there anymore. It's become almost a non-issue with the present generation, with those kids in high school, with the 20-something set. I mean, I can't speak for them because I'm
You're not African
approaching
American?
40,
Oh.
so my generation is it might be a little bit more removed. But again, from curing the kids in school, I was kind of surprised with their lack of any semblance of offense whatsoever with the situation. Administration, other teachers, on the other hand, quite a different reaction.
I have a little problem with that because I feel like it's ignorance. Like these kids they don't know like their history. So I feel I'm on the fence a little bit about that. Like I said, like I thought it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm like, I can definitely see why it was offensive, and I was like, and I want to know who the guy who did this, whose idea was this,
Right.
like, yeah, you want to do something, but I'm on the fence with it.
I do agree with the generational thing, though, because having this conversation with my mother, for instance, who is part African American, she was highly offended, and she said, "How dare they let something like that happen?" And not address it with the students. And then I believe they had some kind of diversity meeting
Which
with
was,
the students.
in my opinion, that was very reactionary.
Right, but they could have done
Face
what
saving.
you're saying at
Yeah.
that time, educated the students.
Give it a little more
Exactly,
background.
give some more background on it. So, but I agree 100% with the generational thing.
I want to go back real quick to what you said about the younger generation not being educated or ignorant to subjects like
I said
this.
that.
Nizam said it. To things like that. It's almost scary.
Yeah,
Yes,
Like,
it is.
it's-
that's the future.
That's the future. Well, they're just so ignorant to that. Then what else are they ignorant to? What else is going to slip right past them?
Definitely, you're gonna make me cry. Let's move on. I'm gonna get emotional.
Future
on
of
TV.
America.
All right, so next up we have Marcus Smart. He's a Missouri basketball player. He pushed a fan. He went in the stands and he pushed a fan. Got suspended for 3 games. The fan said something to him where they're saying they called Jim Orr called him a piece of crap, but the way he reacted says something different. Mike, what do you have on that?
Oh, well, again, here's another very heady issue. You have a situation where a disciplined athlete in high school, in college, certainly professional, has absolutely no business leaving the field of play, leaving the court, leaving the ice rink, whatever the case may be, because of a verbal exchange from the other side of the glass, the other side of the baseline, so to speak. But as you know, too, as an athlete, oftentimes our emotions get the best of us, and we react instead of think. I know years ago there was an instance with Meta World Peace and his former incarnation as Ron Artest, where as a professional athlete he crossed that line, and I'm not taking any of the onus off of the fan and the insults or the slurs or whatever came out of his mouth. It is inappropriate, especially at essentially an amateur college game. But at the same time, there has to be a level of restraint exercise on the part of the athlete to turn away and walk away from the situation. Focus on the game.
When you're an athlete that plays at that level, NCAA Division I, like you're a top tier. You're prepping yourself to be drafted. You're
Right.
prepping yourself to be a professional, and that's not the behavior. You need to have better self-control. There's like really no excuse for it. There's nothing. You're walking past fans on the way out of the tunnel onto the court. I'm sure you've heard it before. You've probably heard a million different things. And I know you're in the heat of the game, but if you're prepping yourself to push to that professional level and get paid millions of dollars, you got to just suck it up and get back
He may
out
have hurt
there.
his draft status
Right.
there. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly, because wasn't he one of the top 5?
He's a top tier guy. NBA talks are definitely in the works for him, and I think that the people around him let him know that. I really doubt if you saw how quickly he jumped up, and because he fell to the ground, and some people were helping him up. He turns around, like shoots up, and goes to talk to his fans. So I think when he gets to the NBA, somebody's gonna ask him, or maybe he'll write a book, or we'll find out really what was said. And I feel like these college athletes are college athletes.
Right.
Why do they have to be put under the scrutiny? They're not. I mean, they're technically getting paid. That's a topic for another show.
Yes, that
but,
is.
they are getting a free education, and you have fans that I mean, I was probably one of them. You're yelling stuff about their mother, about their sister, about their greasy grandma. But from a college student, can I say that's more acceptable? From a fan, a grown man, and they showed that he has taunted other big time players, but why do we have to scrutinize our college athletes like that? They're not getting paid.
No, but they're being molded to possibly move on into the profession of being a professional athlete. And I know, at least I believe with the NBA and the NFL, before they start their career, they have to go through something that's kind of like a charm school to, how to present themselves in public, how to speak when they're on the news, things like that. And, I mean, you're representing your school. Regardless of what you're doing, you're on a team, you're on a scholarship, you're representing your school. So, doing something like that, you need to kind of chill out and watch how you act. Think about it in your job. If you were to react that way towards someone who just said something nasty to you at work, that's not tolerated. So he's lucky that a 3-game suspension is all that he got.
Yeah, a lot of the talking heads on the radio were asking for, or were surprised that it was only 3 games. But I think if you have to kind of compare down the window of the college season and what he has left, then it's kind of more of a fair punishment for the crime, and hopefully it's a lesson learned for this young man, and he's able to kind of curb that enthusiasm going forward and not have it pop up again on the radar in his professional life.
I don't know if you can compare this to the Garrett Blunt. I don't know if anyone remembers back. He was the football player that punched the other guy after the game. It was from Oregon. He's now playing professional football, in the NFL, but his draft status was extremely damaged from the event. I mean, he was in a lot of hot water, but he definitely didn't go as high as he was going to go.
But that's just it. These professional teams, they take each and every prospect.
Yeah.
And they spend hours upon hours upon hours, not just looking at their stats and performance records, but they break them down as human beings and people too, because they want to make sure that the person they're investing in is not going to have one of these oops moments after they've signed the contract.
Absolutely.
To compare it to professional again, to back up what you just said, they did something similar with Aaron Hernandez. A lot of them were talking, or the scouts and everybody were talking about, don't draft him. Like, a lot of trouble off the field. Definitely just don't touch him. And New England's like, oh, we got to steal with him in the later rounds. And now, look what happened.
Now look at where we are.
I mean, what you do definitely echoes in your future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you have a precedent, and if people see you can't act, then you're gonna screw yourself in the future.
Right.
I think, because
I have a couple theories on how the media has handled this. One, something offensive was said, whether it was monkey, N-word, something. They said they interviewed, and it's a piece of crap or whatever. Either something was said to make him react that way, and because something was said, they're trying to, the media or the administration, they're trying to make a learning experience out of it. They don't want to make a big deal, and they don't want to hurt this kid's prospects. And that's why everyone's giving him praise. When you go on the news, the coach is like, this is a stand-up guy. Dick Vitale jumped in, and he got on Jim Orr, and he was like, you've never probably played a Division I sport, or you probably didn't play, and you're criticizing this kid. So I'm thinking something was said, and they were like, we got to back this kid. We don't want his prospects to be hurt. Another option is he's a good kid. They've been losing games. He's been playing okay. Got the best of him. Fan got the best of him. Piece of crap, he jumps up. But they love this kid. He's got good people around him. They don't want him. They don't want his NBA prospects to hurt.
Well, there's that, and there's another X factor with this week, and that was with fellow NCAA athlete Michael Sam with his big announcement, which took a lot of the onus off of that story and shifted the conversation into the pending NFL draft.
I think they want to sweep this Marcus Smart thing under the rug. I think they want to sweep it under. They kind of made a learning experience out of it, but I think they want it to go away. And the reason why we'll probably find out. Maybe he just lost his temper. Maybe something else was said. But I think that they want it to go away for whatever reason. They want it to go away, and we'll find out later. So. Let's switch up gears here. It's Valentine's Day, February 14th. You got to take your ladies out for, dinner, get them gifts, whatever. You're in love, right, Joe?
Yep, I'm happily married.
Is
2
Cupid,
years.
Is it Cupid or stupid? How do you feel about Valentine's Day?
All right. The way I feel about Valentine's Day is that it's stupid. I'm not going to lie. It is a Hallmark holiday. It's like the Mother's Day, the Father's Day. It's made up to sell cards, and then people get bought into it. And it becomes something blown out of proportion. I mean, what if a guy's busy at work for a whole week, and then he's worrying about getting flowers and candies together for his wife, and if he doesn't, then she's just going to lose it on him and say that, oh, you don't love me. Everyone else got flowers and candy.
You have a whole year to prepare
I
for it.
tell my wife that I love her every day, and I buy her nice things whenever I can. To have it one day where it's just expected by our American society to do these super nice things and expensive gifts and expensive dinners and the nicest restaurants, I just don't like the standard. It's just really annoying to me. Do I still do it? Yes, because I love my wife and I want to make her happy. Do I think it sucks? Yes. So that's my take on it. Anybody else have a counter-argument?
I disagree.
Let's hear it.
But I'm not going to say that all females have my point of view, because I have a lot of friends who can't stand Valentine's Day, and they feel kind of the same way, but they still want the flowers or the card or something. I have married friends, single friends, both situations. But I like Valentine's Day. I think Valentine's Day is the one day out of the year where everyone around you is celebrating love. And they're able to express that. And everyone is around everyone, and you're seeing balloons and flowers and everything. And I think it's just a nice way to express an emotion.
Oh, but what about those poor, single, unattached
They're
girls
not
who,
poor.
just on the way out of
fine.
the house, so when you say poor, we got to put into perspective. But, this is a day that's kind of depressing for them when they're
No way, I'm
on the
single.
outside looking in and looking at their colleagues and friends and the Facebook messages what my husband sent me, what my boyfriend sent me, and
Also,
I had to send myself something because there was no one to
Also
send.
in an office setting, say you're in an office setting.
Yeah, the
and
pressure's even greater.
I've actually had this happen where I sent my wife when we were dating flowers, and they didn't get there on Valentine's Day. So now it made me look stupid.
story.
It made her look stupid because there's this standard that everyone's supposed to live up to. Oh, you're in a long-term relationship. People in the office saying to my wife, "You're in a long-term relationship. Why didn't your boyfriend send you flowers?" And I did send her flowers, but now the flower company now makes me look awful to her and to her people in our office because of this standard that's been set by society, which drives me crazy.
I hope
See,
the
but then I
15th was
think-
on a weekday of that year.
It was.
At least you had
Yeah.
a short stay there.
I
They
think that
actually
more-
delivered them to her house
Oh, okay.
later that night, but I was on the phone with them for 3 hours back and forth trying to find these flowers. That's not how I want to spend my afternoon any day.
Of course not.
I think it more has to do with the confidence of the individual then. Because me personally, I'm single, and people are receiving things at work. I'm perfectly fine with that. My other girlfriends will get together on Valentine's Day. I always say it's always a fine time for wine. So we'll have glasses and glasses of wine and have a good time. And as far as what happens at the office, like I said, I think it's just, some people feel that way, some people don't. It's a personal preference.
I feel like I'm going to take a little different take on this. I feel like, yes, it's a Hallmark holiday. I like Valentine's Day in the perspective of doing something with the kids. If their home life is a certain way or whatever, maybe the parents aren't talking to them. They're not giving them the birds and the bees speech. This is a good way to kind of teach people about love. Hey, what's love? It's Valentine's Day. Excuse me.
And not just romantic, but all kind. Like your mom. I gave my mom a box of chocolate. I gave my aunt a box of chocolate. My brother, I don't give him anything. But the
Why not?
ladies like Valentine's
Why
Day.
not?
So
Why? See, I feel like for adults, it's a woman's holiday. I don't remember getting any Valentine's Day gifts or anything like that. You have to take the woman out. You know, you don't get anything.
We
special.
get Super Bowl Sunday though.
Yeah,
We do.
I
We
get,
really
you
do.
might get cologne or a tie or something. You know, like. But I again back to what I was saying. I like that. You know, it kind of teaches the kids about love, and I feel like I always got a Valentine. Hopefully, because I was a cool kid. But I feel like everyone got a Valentine. You know, some more than others. But I feel like it's a good way to kind of teach kids that may not know. Again, back to like that ignorance. You know, like there's some things at school that aren't math and social studies, and you know, our resident gym teacher. You know, it's not a.
You had it right the first time.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, I think that it's good. But then you know, there's the single or the married people. You know, they compete. With you know, the girlfriend calls up. What do you get you? Where you guys going? You know, like I feel like that is it's over commercialized.
That's the argument, I guess,
Yeah.
that I would have.
But
Yeah.
really, what isn't in our society today?
Right.
Everything.
Every single month, holiday, what have you, is commercialized to the nines, and it's all about the almighty dollar. And on a side, on my way out of the house, coming up here to tape, TMZ was on, and there was a report staggering: 14% of all women polled were sending themselves Valentines.
So that's,
Oh, wow.
I personally think that's sad.
14%. So
That's it.
That's crazy. All right, we have a few more minutes. I want to talk about this. I don't know if you guys saw it. There's an anchor out in L.A. who was he's the entertainment reporter. He was talking to I was just gonna mess it up. He was talking to Samuel L. Jackson, and he asked him, you know, how did you like doing the Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, poor
And
guy.
he confused him with Larry Fishburne. Lawrence, I call him Larry because when I first saw Larry Fishburne, heard Larry, and then he changed it to Lawrence.
Because you know him personally.
Because I know him personally. You know, I'm internationally
Cool like
known,
that.
locally respected. But how do you guys feel about that? Mistaking the black folk out there.
I think
I
you
think
just dropped the ball. I mean, if your job is entertainment reporting,
Really?
you got to know who you're about to interview. I mean, we might have done more prep before we came in here than we did for that interview. That is brutally awful. That's just terrible. And the thing that Samuel L. Jackson did was he was so offended that he just couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and for it to be Samuel Jackson, poor guy.
Yeah, that's
'cause
not the one person you
over
want
after
to
that.
make angry at you, especially on camera.
I never remember Michael and Janet getting so insulted, being confused for each other.
Well, they look alike. They look a lot alike. But I thought it was funny. You said you thought he was mad. I thought like it touched him a little bit, you know. But I feel like he just ran with it, and he dug in on that guy. He got it in. It was funny.
Yeah, because he said to the guy, he was like, "And you're the entertainment reporter?
There's a
There's a short line for your job." I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I liked how the entertainment reporter, really couldn't even come back with much of anything.
No.
There was nothing to
He was
come
just
back
like,
with.
oh, ha ha,
laughing.
ha ha, silly me, ha ha. That was it. Laughing was his only action. He had nothing else to do. It was almost sad and scary because I felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, I'm like, you're an idiot.
That's the reality we're living in today. Everything is so instantaneous.
Yeah. And it went viral within
Really?
minutes.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it happened the morning, and I saw it at lunch on like 100 different pages. So I mean, that's one thing about our society and the media age or the or social media age is everything. You can't do anything now. You never know if you're gonna go viral.
That's right.
We'll have room for him on our panel in the future.
I know.
Apparently, he's
Bring him in to
Give him a
talk
call.
about it.
Fly out to New York. I think it was funny that his anchors were not trying to help him. As a matter of fact, they were laughing hysterically, and Sam just kept going. I wanted them to pull out and show the whole desk because they were dying.
Probably falling down laughing. They were probably hiding because they didn't want to be seen laughing at him.
You could so hear them. They were just. I mean, they were crying. They
Yeah.
were like belly laughing, and they were like, "We are not helping you. You are going down by yourself." And that was funny TV. And I think Sam handled it well.
Yeah.
And then eventually he let the guy off the hook and talked about RoboCop, and then he threw something else in. I saw the whole thing, but I forget who he threw in at the end. But he was like, he said I'm the only black guy in the movie who's not a villain.
Right.
And
or who doesn't die? Didn't he say that?
something. Along those
something along those lines. I forget exactly what it was, but he talked about the movie and then he threw a couple more jabs in there, and I thought it was hilarious.
It was.
Has Larry Fishburne weighed in at this at all?
I don't think
I
so.
haven't heard or seen.
I don't think so. I looked on like Twitter and like kind of to see what was trending, and like I'm sure he gets it too. You know, I'm sure he's gotten it.
But he's
And-
Morpheus.
Yeah, it's like you can't confuse him, right?
He's
right.
like an iconic figure.
That's right.
He's got a commercial now where he's playing Morpheus. It's like a car commercial or something.
Oh, I
right?
thought it was really funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, we just have a few minutes left. We are going to be doing this show every week. So if you like it, let us know. We don't have a website. We'll have one for the next show. You can send an email. You know who I am. Send an email. Send it to Joe Rockstar or Michael or Shamara and let them know what's going on and what you guys like and what you don't like. This is Talking Heads, your trending TV talk show, and we will see you real soon.